Welcome back to MT Tech. Today's video is about how to install DHCP server. We can install DHCP server in two ways, through the PowerShell or through the add roles and features. So let's try first through the PowerShell. And the command for the PowerShell in order to install the DHCP server is install Windows feature DHCP then dash include management features. So this is the command in order to install the DHCP through PowerShell. So the easiest way we can install as well through the GUI. Here manage, then next, then here our server. Then here we choose DHCP server and add features. Next, 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 and restart the destination server automatically if required. If it's required, the system will get restarted. If it's not required, the system won't get restarted. So I press install and we should wait for a couple of seconds. So here the DHCP server has been installed and close. And here we have a notification that we have to complete the DHCP configuration from here. So this was through the add roles and features. At first I installed the DHCP server through the GUI, add roles and features. And this time I would like to install the DHCP server through PowerShell. So we can access the PowerShell from here as well and from the start menu as well by writing PowerShell. So the command in order to install the DHCP server through PowerShell, as I mentioned before, is install dash Windows feature, then DHCP and dash include management tools. Then press enter, and here you go. So here you go. The DHCP server has been installed. So there is no need of restart for the DHCP server, and it's done. So in order to confirm if the DHCP server has been installed, the command for confirming that the DHCP server is installed is git windows feature dash name then DHCP. So the DHCP server has been installed. So let's configure the DHCP. Here we have got a notification. And after the installation, it's important to complete the DHCP configuration. It's only a matter of 2 steps here, the description. Then we have to authorize this server and we have to commit to this server. So everything is done. Everything has been installed successfully. So let's open the DHCP server from here, from the tools. And here we have 2 versions of IP address, IP version 4 and IP version 6. And we right click on IP version 4. And for every DHCP server, in order to configure and add some clients to that, it's important to have a new scope. So next, here give the name of the scope, like the HR department, human resource, and this scope is for the HR department. Next, and here we have to give the start IP address and the end IP address. The start IP address for our network is 192.168.1.1, and the end IP address for our network is 192.168.1.254. If you want to subnet this network into 4 or 2 subnets, so here 25 is 2 subnets and 26 is 4 subnets, 27 is 8 subnets, and 28 is 16 subnets. So this is the way we subnet our network. I have to tell you this, that subnetting can seem tricky at first, but once you understand the math, it's actually pretty straightforward. If you want to see more deep dives on networking basics like subnet masks, CIDR, or IP ranges, let me know in the comments below, and if this explanation helped, make sure to hit that like button. So for the purpose of this network, we will have only one subnet here, 24, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255. And next. So in this portion, we will exclude some IP addresses. And why do we exclude the IP address? Exclusions or addresses or a range of addresses that are not distributed by the server. These addresses won't be distributed by the server automatically. So the start IP address for the exclusion is 192.168.1.1 up to 192.168.1.20. So this range of the address will be excluded from the DHCP server, but the DHCP could not offer these IP addresses from 192.168.1.1 up to 20 to their clients. Then add in next. So here set the duration for the scope leases when distributed by this server. Limit is 8 days. So each IP address will be distributed for the clients only for 8 days. After the completion of 8 days, the IP addresses will get changed through the DHCP server. And you can raise the days as well to 9 days to 10 days. How many days would you like? And even hours as well and minutes as well. Next, and yes, I want to configure these options now. Next, and to add an IP address for a router used by clients, enter the address below. So each network has its own IP. Each network has its own router. So here I will add the address of the router. 192 in our case is 192.168.1.1 is the IP address for the router. Add. Next, and here the resolve has already been taken place. So here is the server IP address of our server machine, this machine 192.168.1.10. And if you have another server as well, you can add it here. But since we have only one server, we go with it. Next. So here let's configure the Win servers as well. Why do we use the Win servers here? The computers running Windows can use Win server to convert the NetBIOS computer names to IP addresses. So the NetBIOS for this computer name was empty-tag 0. In here I have to write the name of my server. How to find the name of the server? The name of the server can be found from the local server here, empty-tag.live. So let's write the name of our server, empty-tag.live. And whenever we press the resolve button, the IP address will be found. So this is the IP address for our server, and we add it here. Then next, then I want to activate this scope now. Finish. If everything is okay, then it gets green. Okay, here it's now green. And here we have the server options. If you configure the server options, you can configure it as well if you have extra servers such as the NTP server, the another router if you have in your network, or let's configure DNS name here. So the IP address for the DNS server is 192.168.1.10, which is in the same server. So here the value has been added, and here is our scope. The address pool is from 192.168.1.1 up to 192.168.1.254. And here is as well some IP addresses have been excluded from the DHCP server that they should not be distributed to the clients automatically. And the range of the excluded addresses are 192.168.1.1 up to 192.168.1.20. If we give these IP addresses to the printers or to some other machines in our network, that they shouldn't get new IP address from the DHCP server. That's why the IP address excluded is used. And here we have the address list and reservation and scope options. Here we have the router IP address 192.168.1.1, and the DNS server is as well. And here is our domain's name. DNS domain name is empty-tag.live, and the Win server IP address, which is our domain's IP address, is here as well. So let's distribute an IP address to the client's machine. So let's go back to the client's machine. So here I have a client's machine already started. So let's open ncpa.cpl. and let's give this machine an IP address. So previously it was configured manually, but let's try uh, through DHCP. So properties, Internet Protocol IP version 4, and let's obtain an IP address automatically and obtain the DNS server address as well automatically. Let's press OK, OK. Oh, close. So here is empty-tech.live. It means it received the IP address, and let's see the details here. 192.168.1.21, because up to 20 the address was excluded. All the IP addresses were excluded. In here for this machine, the system has given this IP address for 10 days, 192.168.1.21. And here's the subnet mask. And here the lease obtained Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, and the time. And lease expires for it was for 10 days, so we configure it for 10 days. And here's the default gateway, our router IP address, and here is our DHCP IP address, and here is our DNS IP address, and here is the WINS server IP address. So everything is here. So let's see our DHCP server. Let's refresh it, and let's open the scope in address pool address list. So here, this computer from the finance department got an IP address. And the IP address for this is 192.168.1.21. And that's it. And let's give another machine as well an IP address. And let's see the position of another PC. So this is already a domain giant computer. So let's apply the password. Sign in remotely. So it's not a big deal. Let's solve this problem first. So now let's sign in with the administration credentials. Let's go to the system. Here is the remote desktop, and let's add some users for the remote desktop, or we can disable it as well. So I'll show you first how to add a user to the remote desktop. This is our user, and let's add the credentials of the domain, because this PC is already a domain giant computer. So here the username has been found, and we can add it here. Then the next time it won't ask for the remote desktop connection. So let's sign out from the administrator, and let's log in with this username. And let's configure this computer to the DHCP and cpa.cpl. So here is the adapter for this machine, and now the IP address has been configured manually. So let's change it to automatically, properties, and here we have to enter the credentials of the domain, and here the IP address was manually configured. Now we'll change it to automatically, then OK, then close. Let's disable it. And enable it back. So let's check the status of the IP address. So here it shows 192.168.1.22. Before it was 140, and now the DHCP server is yes and gave an IP address under this range 192.168.122. And here is the default gateway, which is our router IP address, and here is our DHCP IP address, DNS IP address, and everything. So let's go back to our domain machine. So let's refresh, and here is another computer as well from the sales department, which received an IP address from the DHCP server. And let's give a new reservation to the MAC address, that one IP address should be reserved for that computer as always. So let's give this to the manager, and the PC of the manager is, suppose it's 192.168.1.22, and let's find the MAC address of the manager's computer, which is this PC. So let's go to command prompt and let's run it as an administrator. And let's ipconfig/all to get the MAC address of this computer. So here is the Ethernet adapter 4, and here is the MAC address for this computer. So let's copy this MAC address. I hope it gets copied. And let's go back to the server. No, it's not possible. So let's add the MAC address of the computer manually. So the MAC address of this computer is 0015 5D 3F 01683. In description, He is the manager and both DCP and boot. So here the address has been reserved for the manager. So this 192.168.1.22, the manager can use always. And so here we have as well the name of the manager. Here after refreshing it, and the address has been reserved. And let me refresh my client's machine as well. ncpa.cpl. Let's disable this. And enable it. So I'm sure it still has this IP address because we have reserved this IP address for this client's machine computer who is a manager. And let's refresh our server. Now it's active, and here is the physical MAC address of that computer, and here's the description and has full access. This was how to reserve an IP address for a specific computer. This was port 2 of the DHCP server. Port 1 was the theory, and port 2 is the configuration. In part 3 of this video, I will discuss about the new superscope, the configure, failover, we can configure the failover, we can replicate the failover, and about the allow and deny, filtering the IP addresses. So stay in touch with me. Thanks for watching. Have a nice time.